This tank is the AMX 5120. This is a French Tier 9 heavy tank. The map is Prokhorovka. This tank is also an autoloader. This tank is fun to play. It's not my favorite autoloader. I like it more than the T-57 heavy. I haven't played enough games in it or often enough to really enjoy playing it, but I have definitely played this tank enough to know that I like other autoloaders more than I like this one. So what I'm doing is I am moving into the town, and there's various ways to play this out. You really want to get there as quickly as possible. You want to have good spotting. You're going to have to self-spot the enemy. You're going to want to have an autoloader or a tank that can do a lot of damage really fast. And look at what happens. I was surprised that a Kanan and Jagdpanzer showed up at the hill a lot faster. I was expecting that I was going to make it all the way through before anybody got to the hill. But guess what's going to happen? He's going to have a really bad day. I don't even think he's going to fire back at me. I don't even think I got spotted. I mean, I didn't see the spotting, the sixth sense go off. And there it goes. You can see that an enemy tank did come in after me. So I had to retreat from the position, and I did set him on fire also. Okay, so from that maneuver, I did 1,545 damage. At the start of the game, the first minute and a half. I did intend to go a little bit further. If you watch my other videos, you'll see games where I do that. I wanted to show you this position. Let's move on to the next video. This tank is the Jagdpanzer E100. This is a German Tier 10 tank destroyer, and the map is Nebelberg, which is a grand battle map. We're going to show you a sniping position that you can play on this map. This is not me playing. The player is Team B Mean Panzer, and hopefully he's going to have a good game. I'm going to advance it. Going to fast forward a little bit. It's a slow tank. He's equipped with 9. I don't know if those are premium rounds or not. Let's see what kind of rounds he's got. Those are high penetrating rounds. It looks like he puts his highest penetrating rounds first. And then he's got high explosive rounds, and then his low penetrating rounds. So he's got 9 high penetrating rounds that he's going to be using as his primary armament, his primary ammo. Okay, so look at where he is on the mini-map. He's in the F0 area. I'm going to show you what the surroundings look like. So basically what he's doing is he's expecting the enemy team to be aggressive and to come around the corner in order for him to be able to shoot at this position. And it does look like he will have some shots at enemy tanks that are in the center of the map, but just barely. We can see that he's aiming directly south. He's got his first target there. We don't know if that one connected. One of the issues with playing the game is you want to be, in this case, you want to be as far to the left as possible. Like, he would be better off if he were more that way, for example, where that T-110E4 is, because that T-110E4 can hit tanks that haven't come all the way around the corner. So he's going to have to wait for tanks to come further around the corner before he's going to be able to take shots at them. You can see there is a house in the way that's going to block him from hitting tanks that are in the middle of the map. There is a slight chance. It looked like you could see the top of a tank there. Scores 1-0. And it looks like his team is not being that aggressive. However, he does have allies that are a little bit further south out of his range. Doesn't have a shot on that object 277. Okay, so we got our first customer. And he does 1,045 damage on the enemy Jagdpanzer E100. So it looks like he may have hit that tank that was in a distant sniping position. Okay, we got another tank. That was 959 damage on the TVP T50/51. Let's see if he comes around. Not a bright move. Hopefully we'll see a nice shot. Going for the lower plate. And he got 1,066 damage on the enemy IS-7. So I guess the IS-7 must have been tracked, which is why he was in that position. Score is 2-4. If you look at the minimap, you're going to notice that the enemy does have more tanks than the Allies do. So the enemy is going to advance. So he did get 1,100 damage on the AMX 13105, and he did get 68 spotting damage on the IS-7. Scores 4-7. He appears to have one ally in front of him. Oh, he's got two allies in front of him, the IS-7 and the Type 5 Heavy. Okay, so that was 1,033 damage on the Type 5 Heavy plus 25 spotting damage. So he's already up to 5,200 damage. This is a pretty good position. That was 1,063 damage on the enemy IS-7. He's up to 6,267 damage. He's got a high penetrating gun. He's got 2 more rounds left that penetrate with 420 millimeters of armor. He's got another target. That was 1,123 damage against an enemy object 140. Got a little bit more spotting damage on the Type 5 Heavy. I mean, this IS-7 must have been the one that got hit before. He must know that there's danger coming around that corner. Difficult shot. He didn't take it. So that one, he didn't do any damage. He did get spotted, but he's in a pretty, I guess except for the flank. The Object 277 up on that hill did hit him. But if the Object 277 hit him, that means he'll probably be able to hit the Object 277. So his platoon mate did die, was killed by the IS-7 in front of you, which he just took out of the game. He's up to 7,600 damage. He is spotted, so it's very dangerous for him to move up because he could take another hit from that Object 277. Easy target. Unfortunately, we don't know, and we will never know what happened with that shot because I will not check the post-game stats. Okay, so that tank obviously is not going to be able to be hit. He's got a good game so far. There's a good chance that he is #1 damage earner on his team. His team did lose on the northwest, so the northwest enemy is advancing. The score is 12-20. He is on a losing team. Getting a high damage game often means being on a losing team because the enemy will advance and you can sit back in a sniping position. And if your team is winning, then you win. Let's see if he's working on any missions. He's working on TD-10 for the Object 260 and for the Chimera. So he did 725 damage on an IS-4. He's up to 8,400 damage. And there's at least 3 enemy tanks in front of him, 2 medium tanks and a tier 10 heavy tank. Right now he is using his regular rounds. He did run out of his high penetration rounds. I'm surprised he didn't check to see if he had a shot on the Object 277. We'll never know if he would have been able to hit that. Oh, it looks like now he can. Maybe not. That was 968 damage on the FV 4005. So he's up to 9,300 damage. The score is 15 to 24. Oh, it's too bad. So that Object 277 he was firing at did hit him for 507 damage. That tank is right there. Did 1,077 damage on the Progetto 65. So he's up to 10,400 damage, and he's on low hit points. He's really got to do a lot of damage to that tank. It looks like he's the last one on his team. And that's the game. So he did 10,412 damage, 1,750 blocked by armor, 147 spotting damage. This tank is the Grille 15. This is a German Tier 10 tank destroyer, and the map is Hinterland. Hinterland is a grand battle map. The player is Evil Tank Commando. I'm going to show you a sniping position that you can play on this map. I'm going to advance so we get there a little bit faster. You see that he's playing on the northern team. And he was able to take out that enemy tank. I don't know how he did it. Oh, okay. He did 631 damage. Someone else hit that tank for the additional damage, and he just got the kill. It just all happened so fast. He did 658 damage on the Leopard 1, and he got his second kill. Look at where he is on the mini-map so you can get an idea. He's in the C1 location. And you'll notice that he's got a lot of allies in front of him, and he can only hit the enemy tanks that have advanced to the front of the flank. He did 369 damage on the T110E5, hitting that cupola. So he does have AP rounds, but he is using higher penetration rounds for some of these shots. And that was 1,154 damage on the T110E5, which I believe he hit the ammo rack. He's up to 2,900 damage in the first 2.5 minutes of this game. Now, one of the issues with playing this position is that if you're on a winning team, you're going to have to relocate. You're going to have to advance. If you're on a losing team or if your flank loses, that's the only case when the enemy's going to advance on the flank. He got 694 damage on the E100. He's up to 3,600 damage total. And he's still using the higher penetrating rounds. Nice. Oh, he missed the opportunity on that Badger. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to penetrate the angled plate of that tank. The enemy is slowly advancing, but they're not. The flank is still equal. That is too bad that he bounced that shot. Everything indicated that he should have penetrated. Looks like he'll get a second chance, and he might take that tank out of the game. He got 670 damage on that tank, and I believe it was his third kill. He's up to 4,200 damage. That was 820 damage, and he's switching back to the AP rounds. He ran out of his higher penetrating rounds. He must have missed on that shot. It used to be a couple years ago that you would not miss as often, but they changed the dispersion of the rounds so that they miss more often. So he also missed the Grille 15, which is too bad because he would have taken that tank out of the game. He does have 4 kills, 5,000 damage. His enemy's doing well on this flank. They haven't advanced, but the enemy tank is still showing up. Notice that IS-7, oh, he didn't penetrate it. That IS-7 is playing outside of the town area, so he's not on the same flank. And the enemy is surrounded in the town. And he missed another shot. He had around 2 or 3 bounces, and he missed around 3 or 4 easy shots. Scores 11-9. Another miss. Very important to have a gun laying drive and vertical stabilizers when you do distance sniping. That was 767 damage on the Jagdpanzer E100. So not only do you want that, but you want BIA, you want to have vents. This tank cannot use vents. You want your crew trained to 100%, etc. As you get up into higher tiers, you're going to be playing on grand battle maps, and you're going to be playing frontline, and you're going to be further away from the enemy. That was 768 damage on the E100. Being further away from the enemy means you're going to have to be more accurate when you fire from the longer distances. So you will need that in the higher tiers. That was 795 damage on the Grille 15. So the enemy is starting to advance. His team is withdrawing somewhat on the flank. The only tank defending is a Batchat 25T with 23 hit points. That was 712 damage on the Badger and 1,000 assistance damage. Nice. So I don't believe that he was spotted during the game. So the enemy team did not know that he was in this position. Oh, nice. It's too bad he missed that opportunity. Having a gun rammer allows you to load faster, and having a well-trained gunner or loader and commander. That was 681 damage on the Grille 15. Scores 21-19. His team has won on the eastern flank. They've actually either lost or withdrawn. They've lost in the city. It looked like they had an advantage. And he's sort of losing on this flank there. He's not doing that well, but we really don't know the condition of the enemy team. He is holding out. He's got over 9,000 damage. And he's got 5 kills. So you can see he's pulling into a secondary sniping position. There is a small chance he could get spotted if he had remained in that position. He did miss an opportunity to hit that 430U. Scores 22-22. He's allowing his team to be vulnerable. This is not a good playing behavior. You want to make decisions quickly, otherwise you'll get surrounded. He's got another threat he has to deal with. So he was lucky to be able to take the Leopard 1 out of the game with 505 damage. Oh, the building could be destroyed. Now he's getting pummeled. He just received 1,100 damage, and he was stunned. He got hit by 2 artilleries and an enemy Grille 15. Oh, that's too bad. He got taken out of the game. He got 10,372 damage and 1,033 assistance damage plus 6 kills. This tank is the Rhm-Borsig Waffenträger. I really don't remember the proper name. And this is a Tier 8 German tank destroyer, and the map is Fisherman's Bay. I'm going to show you a sniping position that you can play on this map. Now, you've probably seen this tank in the game. You know it's a deadly tank. It's absolutely a deadly tank. This is an overpowered tank. It has a great gun on it. It does a good amount of damage. Doesn't do like mega amount of damage, but does like around 550 or 600 damage. It does a pretty good amount of damage. And it's probably got good penetration. I'm really not sure. And even if it does, I might not have the highest penetrating gun. It is a relatively slow tank. The turret doesn't move that quickly. It's not like a Scorpion G. You're not going to run all over the battlefield with this particular tank. I do enjoy playing it, and I am glad that I have it. So it's possible that that Pantera was spotted and I took a hit that was intended for him. So I did lose half my hit points on the way to the spotting position. I'm going to advance a little bit. So let's look at this position here. I knocked a tree down. There is a good chance you're going to get spotted if you fire your gun. I do have a camo net. I've been using the camo net a little bit more often now since I've been sniping. I highly recommend a camo net if you're a sniper. I do get spotted less often when I use a camo net. You're also going to want things like the concealment, BIA, and anything else that helps from being spotted, like Sixth Sense. Haven't done any damage yet. So you can see it aims relatively quickly. Because it's a stationary vehicle, it is possible that the gun laying drive might be better than V-stab, the vertical stabilizers. Gun laying drives you might want to use for autoloaders, for certain tank destroyers, SPGs. It does depend on the style of play. You're going to get good performance with a gun laying drive if you're stationary, and with the vertical stabilizers if you move. Now that Scorpion, he's trying to side scrape. He's never going to side scrape with that tank. Virtually any tank is going to be able to penetrate him. It's the wrong strategy for him to play. I'm going to wait for him to go away from me. So when he's traveling away from me, he's not going to be able to evade my shot. So that's why I held my fire until he was going directly away from me. And then I released my shot, which did 478 damage. I also did 358 damage on the Scorpion G, and I spotted the Scorpion G, so I did 435 spotting damage on the Scorpion G. So you can see that I'm advancing. Let's see if I move to a new sniping position. There's obviously a bush right here that you can use. But it looks like I'm moving beyond the scope of sniping, so let's move on to the next video. This tank is the E50. This is a German Tier 9 medium tank, and the map is Live Oaks. I am going to show you a sniping position that you can play on this map. There's a couple of them that I've been playing with lately. There's one or two that are better than the rest. And there's an alternate position, a secondary position. Once the first position dries up, you move to the secondary position. There's advantages and disadvantages to each position. Let's see which one I pick in this game. So it looks like I'm moving to what I consider to be the best position. You're going to want to knock some of the trees down while you're here. Depending on how quickly you get here will impact how much time you have to shoot at enemy targets. It's best if someone else is spotting for you. Otherwise, you'll have to self-spot. If you self-spot, you're going to be in a lot more danger. But basically, I'm going to hit the slow heavy tanks as they cross in this gap here. If they are well defended, they will stop and shoot back. Or if they have a reason to stop and shoot back, they will. If they've gone most of the way, they're just going to keep on going. So one of the things that you can do is wait until he's gone most of the way and then fire, and then he's likely to keep on going. He does a lot of damage. Lucky he missed me. And I did get damage on him, 467, that's pretty good. Unfortunately, there's a bat chat right there who might be hidden from my view. It's sad that I can't penetrate him with regular rounds. I'm missing my opportunity. And he can damage me because he might have the high explosive rounds. I don't know if he does or not. Uh-oh, this is not looking good. They know I'm here. They got big guns. They've got strong armor. So I got some damage on that Type 5 Heavy, and I got some spotting damage on two of the tanks that did pass by. Now, I told you that there's a secondary position, and this is going to be the secondary position that I'm referring to. You can advance a little bit further. You can move... Oh, I'm sorry, I paused the game. You can move closer to that house for a little bit of a better position. They'd have to turn their gun further to their side in order to hit you. That's why I recommend being closer to the house, and I usually play closer to that house. So you can see that they're not advancing for some reason. It's not because they know that I'm here waiting for them, because most tanks don't know that I snipe across this way. And I'd like to point out that you can go over there. You see where that bush is? There's an Object 704. He's actually right there. That's another position that you can use to snipe down this road. However, if you play that position, you're going to have less of a gap to hit the tanks. You're not going to have this huge gap over here to shoot across. So you might want to try that position. Look at where he is on the mini-map right now, the B4 position. There's a bush that's right next to him to his left that you can also use. There's a little tiny shed that you can knock down. I think the shed is visible right behind that bush. So and the other thing about where I'm playing, luckily where I'm playing, I'm not blocking the Object 704. And we both did a lot of damage to that T95. You do got to watch out. There is a sniper. So let's see where that sniping shot came from. He came from, look at where he came from. He didn't come from up on that hill. The Kronwagen is up on that hill. He came from way out there. If you look on the mini-map where it says Object 430, where I'm pointing to on the mini-map, that's where that Waffenträger is. He's in that direction. Not always somebody there, but I've played games where people have been there. He's out of the game. You'll notice I'm getting closer to this building, hoping that I'll have better defense. Now remember, I don't know at this point that the Object 704 is behind me. So let's see how he's doing. He can probably still shoot across, and it's probably good for him because he's got this wood pile that he has to worry about. So it's actually not bad that I'm here. I'm really not blocking his shot. Be careful, because some tanks will stop if they cross that gap and know you're here. Depends on how cocky they are. There's going to be tanks that are going to rush across. There's going to be tanks that are going to stop and shoot at you. You know, lots of different things can happen. So I got 1,260 damage, and I got 425 spotting damage. I like to play aggressive, challenging positions. I don't like to play the easy positions. You know, when I say I'd like to play for fun, this is what I mean. I don't want to play an easy position. It's just too boring for me. So I am worried about that Waffenträger. He hit me. He took 3 shots at me, all of which bounced. Okay, let's move on to the next video. This tank is a Pantera 43 BIS. This is a Tier 6 Italian medium tank. The map is Grille in the assault defend mode, and I'm on the defending team. There's a couple different sniping positions that you can use on this map. I do have a favorite position which I'm approaching right now, basically right in front of me, the rock formation. There's a lot of trees over here, a lot of rocks. It's very safe. I've played many games over here. Unfortunately, there was a tank that came across and was a big threat to me, and I was really, really worried about this tank, and I was really scared about firing and about getting spotted. And if he stays there, it really puts me in danger because I can't play the game. I can't snipe. I'll get spotted. He'll shoot back at me, etc. So I really had to make a decision quickly. I decided finally to fire, and as far as I know, I did not get spotted. I do believe I have 6th sense on this tank. But there's another threat that I need to worry about, and he's preventing me from doing the sniping that I want to do. Good thing my ally showed up. Now this is the type of sniping that I want to do from this position. I want to be able to hit these tanks up in the north and in the south. Unfortunately, what's going to happen is that STRV, I think he's going to continue to be difficult for me. He's going to be a problem. Oh, maybe I fired too late. Haven't done any damage yet, other than the fact that I probably hit that T-21 when he was unspotted. Now, there's a certain gap over here that they have to cross. I didn't get a shot on him. There's going to be a couple of gaps, and I'll be able to shoot at them as they cross the gap. We don't have defense on the west side. They might become unspotted. They're going to be able to sneak across easily. But here's one of those gaps. You can see I did hit that tank, and one of his friends showed up. There's going to be a couple positions where they're going to think that they're safe, but I'll be able to hit them. Unfortunately, I missed that shot on the T-20. And there's the STRV, put me in a lot of danger, and then there's a T-71, so we got a lot of problems right now. And I got to worry about their snipers up on the hill. It was a very dangerous position to play. This usually doesn't happen. And now I know that there's a Hellcat up there on that hill also. So I decided to move a little bit forward, hoping that I'd be able to spot that Hellcat again. Unfortunately, if I get spotted, he's going to be able to shoot at me real fast. Okay, so I missed that shot. I'm up to 744. Got another easy target right here. Okay, so now here's where I get spotted and I got to worry about that Hellcat. But I think I may have forgotten that I was out a little bit too far. It's very important to turn the tank around to get that stronger armor in front. And I did get spotting damage on that T-71DA. So now you'll notice that there's no enemy targets in the northeast. The M6A2E1 Mutant is no longer in my sniping range. So now there's little that I can do other than hope to spot a new tank. This was not a high damage game for me. So this is not one of the better games that I've had, but it is an important position, and it does prevent the enemy from controlling this middle area. It does change the enemy's strategy. And it is a good way to counter enemy light tanks. Enemy light tanks didn't have a chance. They aren't allowed to play freely anywhere that they want to. That was a lousy shot. So I had a lot of shots that bounced, unfortunately, in this game. I did get spotting damage on that tank that was up on that hill, the Su-130PM. Score is 9-8. The T-71DA, I don't remember if he's still there or he left, but I seem to recall that he did leave that position. And I also seem to recall that the Hellcat was more of a threat. Okay, so he is still there. But unfortunately, I don't have any allies that can shoot at him. Oh, that sucks. I'm pretty sure the Hellcat is still in that position. He hasn't moved. Okay, so now most of the remaining tanks are gone, and I believe that my final strategy is going to be to proximity spot the Hellcat. But you can see that I did survive. I lost about half of my hit points. I probably did around 1,200 or around 1,200 damage and 500 spotting damage. Let's move on to the next video.